The forest was alive with whispers that night. Moonlight spilled through the dense canopy, painting the ground in silver patterns. Amara crouched behind a thick oak, her heart hammering in her chest. She had spent her entire life hidden, locked away in the tower of her stepmother's sprawling estate, away from the eyes of the pack. Tonight the pack was gathering in the clearing for the annual mating ceremony, a tradition that determined fates, bonds, and destinies. Amara's stepmother, Lady Valora, had always told her it was for her own safety. "The Alpha King would never choose a girl like you," she had said, her voice dripping with false concern. "Stay hidden, or you'll bring shame to this family." But Amara's heart ached to witness the ceremony, to feel the raw, magnetic energy of the pack in the moonlight, even if from the shadows. The clearing was breathtaking. Wolves, both human and wolf forms, moved with grey strength and power, their scents blending into a symphony of earth, fur, and musk. The Alpha King, tall, regal, with eyes like molten gold, stood in the center. His presence was magnetic. It pulled at Amara's chest, made her pulse quicken, though she had never met him. Suddenly, a ripple ran through the crowd. One by one, Omegas were stepping forward, each chosen by a mate, their faces glowing with pride or fear. Amara's breath caught. She wasn't there. She wasn't allowed. And yet, something deep inside her stirred, a quiet longing that refused to be silenced. A sudden breeze rustled the leaves, and her hiding place felt too exposed. She was about to retreat when she felt a presence, strong, commanding, and terrifyingly intimate, approaching. She froze, a shiver running down her spine. The Alpha King's gaze fell upon her, piercing through the darkness like lightning splitting the sky. "There," he said, his voice a low, resonant growl that seemed to echo through the trees. "Bring her to me." Amara's stepmother gasped, stepping forward to protest, but it was too late. The pack obeyed the Alpha's command, moving with silent precision to guide Amara into the clearing. Every eye was on her, whispers spreading like wildfire. The girl who was hidden, the one no one thought worthy, was now standing before the most powerful Alpha the pack had ever known. The Alpha King's gaze never wavered. "You've been kept from your destiny," he said, stepping closer, his golden eyes softening as they locked onto hers. "But no one can hide what belongs to the pack." Amara felt something awaken inside her, a mixture of fear, awe, and an undeniable attraction. She was trembling, but she couldn't look away. The Alpha King extended a hand, not just as a gesture, but as a promise, an unspoken claim that resonated through her very soul. And in that instant she knew her life would never be the same. The clearing fell silent, every pair of eyes fixed on Amara and the Alpha King. Her body was rigid with fear and disbelief, yet she couldn't tear her gaze away from him. There was something about the way he moved, graceful, predatory, yet undeniably protective, that made her heart pound against her ribs like a wild drum. "Step aside, Valora." The Alpha's voice cut through the murmurs, calm but dangerous. Lady Valora's face flushed with fury, her perfectly painted lips trembling. "This Omega belongs to me." Amara's stepmother opened her mouth to argue, but the pack shifted instinctively, a silent warning that the Alpha's word was law. Valora's fury only made Amara's chest tighten. All her life, her stepmother had whispered lies, kept her in the shadows, convinced her that she was powerless. And yet, here she was, standing in the moonlight, chosen by the Alpha King himself. "Why, you want me?" Amara's voice cracked, barely above a whisper. The words sounded absurd, even to her own ears. She had always believed she was too small, too weak, too ordinary to ever attract someone like him. The Alpha King's golden eyes softened, and he took a step closer. The air around him seemed to thrum with energy, as if the very forest was bending toward him. "I don't just want you," he said, his voice low and compelling. "I've been searching for you. Hidden or not, your destiny is with me. You are mine, Amara." The moment his words touched her, something inside her shifted. A warmth spread from her chest, chasing away the cold fear that had dominated her life for so long. She wanted to run, wanted to hide, but her legs felt rooted to the earth. The pull between them was magnetic, undeniable, and frightening. Lady Valora's fury boiled over. "This is impossible. She is nothing. You cannot choose her?" The Alpha's gaze hardened, sharp as a blade. "Silence," he commanded, and the pack obeyed instantly. Valora shrank back, realizing she was powerless against the Alpha's will. Amara's pulse raced as he stepped even closer, the scent of his wolf form reaching her before he even shifted. Golden eyes met hers again, unflinching, and the pull between them grew stronger, almost painful in its intensity. "Do you understand what this means?" he asked. "Once I claim you, nothing will be able to take you from me. You will be bound to the pack, and to me." Amara swallowed hard. Her life of secrecy, of fear, of hiding in corners and shadows, felt like a distant memory now. She could see the truth in his gaze, the promise of protection, of power, of a bond that could never be broken. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling but steady. I understand." The Alpha King reached out, his hand grazing hers. Electricity surged through her body at the simple touch. "Good," he said. "Then welcome to your destiny, Omega. I will teach you, protect you, and when the time comes, I will claim you fully." The pack murmured, their voices a mixture of awe and respect. Amara's stepmother turned away, defeated. while Amara's heart pounded with a mixture of fear and longing. She had been hidden all her life, but now she was seen. She was chosen, and nothing would ever be the same again. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, the Alpha stepped back slightly, still keeping his golden gaze locked on her. Amara felt a strange thrill, part fear, part excitement, at the thought of being bound to someone so powerful, someone so dominant. Her journey had only just begun, but she already knew one thing with certainty: she could never hide again. Dawn broke over the forest in streaks of gold and crimson, casting long shadows across the clearing. Amara stood at the edge of the pack grounds, the crisp morning air filling her lungs. Her heart still raced from the events of the night before. The Alpha King had chosen her, and there was no turning back. Yet, as much as her soul ached with excitement, fear gnawed at her. She didn't know anything about being part of the pack, let alone what it meant to be bound to the Alpha. The Alpha approached, his presence immediately grounding her. Every movement he made was precise, controlled, yet powerful, radiating authority that made her knees weak. "Your first lesson begins now," he said, his golden eyes locked on hers. "You must learn the ways of the pack, how to move, how to sense, how to survive. Only then can you truly take your place by my side." Amara nodded, swallowing hard. She felt exposed, not just physically but emotionally, standing before him in the pack. But there was no time for hesitation. He extended his hand, and she took it instinctively, feeling a current of warmth that ran deeper than she could describe. The training was grueling. The Alpha pushed her to her limits, teaching her to track scents, to listen to the subtle rustle of leaves, to feel the heartbeat of the forest. Her body ached, her muscles screamed, but the thrill of learning under his guidance ignited something inside her. Every time their hands brushed, every time he adjusted her stance, a spark of heat surged through her. She tried to ignore it, but it was impossible. "You're stronger than you think?" he said one afternoon as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of fire. "The pack will respect you, but first, you must respect yourself." Amara's eyes met his, and she saw a depth there that took her breath away. His voice was soft now, almost intimate, yet still commanding. "You've been hidden for too long, but now you're mine to guide and mine to protect. And someday, you will be mine in every sense." Her cheeks burned, and she swallowed, trying to focus on her training rather than the way his words made her heart ache. She was his omega, and the pull between them was growing stronger with each passing day. Meanwhile, tensions with Lady Velora escalated. The stepmother, furious at losing control over Amara, began scheming in the shadows. She whispered poison into the ears of pack members, sowing doubt, attempting to turn them against Amara. But the Alpha's presence was an unmovable force. Whenever Velora tried to interfere, he was there, like a golden sentinel, his eyes warning of consequences she dared not test. One evening, after a particularly intense session of training, Amara sat alone under the silver glow of the moon. The forest was quiet, almost sacred. She felt the pull of the Alpha's presence behind her before she even saw him. He knelt down beside her, close enough that their shoulders brushed, sending shivers down her spine. "You've done well today," he murmured. "Every challenge you face, I am here. You are not alone, Amara, never again." She looked up at him, her pulse racing. I feel like I've always been waiting for this," she admitted, voice barely above a whisper. "Waiting to be seen, waiting to belong." The Alpha's gaze softened, and for a moment, the fierce predator vanished, leaving only the man who had chosen her, who wanted her. "Then you are home now," he said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "And nothing will ever take you from this place. Not even those who wish to hide you." Amara's chest tightened as she realized the truth for the first time in her life. She felt safe. But more than that, she felt wanted, desired, chosen. And that bond, fierce and unbreakable, was only beginning. The forest was quiet that night, too quiet. Amara's senses were on high alert as she patrolled the edge of the pack's territory under the Alpha's watchful eyes. The lessons of the past weeks had honed her instincts. She could feel the subtle shifts in the wind, the faint rustle of leaves, even the tiniest crack of a twig beneath a wandering animal. Yet tonight, something felt wrong. The Alpha moved silently beside her, a shadow of golden power. His presence was calming yet electrifying, a constant reminder of the bond that had tethered them together since the mating ceremony. "You sense it too, don't you?" he murmured, his voice low and intimate. Amara nodded, swallowing hard. "Yes, as something's coming." He stopped and turned to her, his golden eyes intense. "Whatever it is, we face it together. You are not just my omega. You are part of this pack, part of me." Her heart fluttered at his words and a warmth spread through her chest. She had never felt such closeness, such undeniable connection. His words were more than protection. They were ownership, promise, and desire all at once. Before she could respond, a scream tore through the forest. It was sharp, piercing, and human. The Alpha's posture changed instantly, every muscle coiled like a predator ready to strike. "Stay close to me," he commanded. They ran toward the sound, moving like shadows through the trees. Amara's breath came in short gasps, but the fear that clawed at her was tempered by the thrill of being near him. They reached a clearing, and Amara's eyes widened at the scene. A pack member had been cornered by a rogue wolf, eyes glowing with malice. Without hesitation, the alpha shifted, his form rippling with muscle fur and raw power. Amara watched in awe as he moved, a blur of golden strength, until the threat was neutralized. The rogue wolf fled, leaving the pack member trembling but unharmed. The alpha returned to his human form, his chest heaving, eyes locking onto hers. "You must always be ready, Amara," he said, voice low and commanding. "The pack has enemies, both outside and within." Her pulse raced, not just from fear, but from the nearness of him. Every word, every glance, every brush of his hand sent shivers down her spine. I want to be ready," she whispered. "I want to protect you, the pack us." He stepped closer, golden eyes melting into something tender yet intense. "Good," he murmured. "Because one day soon, you won't just be my Omega, you'll be my equal in strength, my partner in everything. And until that day comes, I will guide you and claim you when the time is right." Amara's chest tightened, a mixture of longing and fear twisting inside her. She had been hidden all her life, kept from her destiny, and yet now she stood at the heart of the pack, with the most powerful alpha claiming her, desiring her, guiding her. But danger lingered in the shadows. Lady Valora's schemes were growing bolder, whispering lies to the pack, attempting to turn allies into enemies. And with every passing day, Amara realized that surviving the forest's dangers was only part of her challenge. The true threat might come from those she thought she could trust. That night, as she lay under the silver light of the moon, the alpha's presence near her, she understood the truth: love, desire, and danger were intertwined, and she was ready to face them all, as long as he was by her side. The next morning, the forest was shrouded in mist, and a chill lingered in the air. Amara's senses were sharp, every rustle of leaves and snapping twigs setting her on edge. Lady Valora's presence in the pack was like a shadow she couldn't shake, always whispering, always scheming. Amara knew it was only a matter of time before her stepmother's jealousy turned into something more dangerous. The alpha appeared silently at her side, his golden eyes scanning the mist. "Today you will face a trial," he said, his voice steady but heavy with meaning. "I will not be there to protect you every moment. You must trust your instincts, your training, and yourself." Amara's heart raced. A trial she had trained, yes, but could she really handle it on her own? "I'll try," she whispered, fighting the tremor in her voice. He stepped closer, brushing a hand lightly over her shoulder. "I have faith in you. Remember, you are mine, and that bond is stronger than any fear you carry. Let it guide you." The trial began with the alpha sending her into the forest alone, to track a rogue wolf he had marked earlier. Her instincts screamed, her heart pounded, yet every step felt guided by an invisible thread. The bond she now shared with him. She could feel his presence in her mind, subtle but constant, like a heartbeat just beyond her reach. Hours passed as she moved through the forest, every shadow a potential threat, every whisper of wind a signal. And then, she found it, the rogue, its eyes glinting with malice, its stance defensive and ready to strike. Her training kicked in. She shifted, senses heightening, instincts honed to a razor's edge. The rogue lunged, and she dodged, her body moving as if it had always known these motions. Before the fight could escalate, a golden blur appeared, the alpha at her side, eyes locked on hers. "Trust yourself," he growled, and together they subdued the rogue. His hand brushed hers in the struggle, and a jolt of heat shot through her, leaving her breathless. Later, as they returned to the pack grounds, Amara felt a mixture of pride and awe. I did it," she whispered, still trembling. "I really did it." The alpha's gaze softened, almost tender now, as he cupped her face in his hands. "Yes, you did. And every day, you will grow stronger. You are not just my Omega, you are my equal in ways no one else can understand." Her chest tightened at his words, and for a moment, the world fell away, leaving only them, the moonlight, and the bond that had been forged through danger, trust, and desire. But peace was fleeting. That night, Lady Valora struck. She had secretly released a group of rogue wolves near the pack's territory, hoping to create chaos, to test the alpha's claim over Amara, and perhaps even eliminate her from the pack entirely. The alpha and Amara sensed the danger immediately. "Stay close," he commanded, his voice low and fierce. "I will protect you, but you must trust yourself." The rogue wolves attacked, chaos erupting in the forest. Amara's training, her instincts, and the bond with the alpha guided her movements. Every dodge, every counter, every defensive action was amplified by the strength she drew from him. Together they were unstoppable, a perfect union of power and instinct. When the battle ended, the rogue wolves driven off or captured, the alpha turned to her, his chest heaving, his golden eyes intense with a mix of relief and something far more intimate. "You are mine," he whispered, voice low and commanding, "and no one, can take you from me." Amara's heart thundered. She had faced danger, overcome fear, and survived, and yet, it was the closeness of him, the way his claim over her burned like fire in her soul, that left her trembling. She realized, fully and completely, that there was no hiding from this love, no running from her destiny. She belonged to him, and he belonged to her. As they stood under the silver glow of the moon, The alpha pulled her close, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling, hearts beating in sync. Danger may lurk in the shadows, but together, they were unstoppable, and nothing would ever come between them again. The pack grounds were quiet, the aftermath of the rogue wolf attack still lingering like a tense breath held too long. Amara moved among the pack members, helping those injured, her hands steady despite the adrenaline that still raced through her veins. She had never felt such strength within herself, or such belonging. Every glance from the alpha reminded her that she was seen, chosen, and wanted. But peace is often fleeting in the world of the pack. Lady Valora had not been idle. The stepmother's schemes were subtle, yet deadly whispers of doubt, rumors of favoritism, and even a few threats left in the dark corners of the forest. Her intent was clear, to make Amara appear weak, unworthy of the alpha's attention, and to reclaim control over the girl she had tried to destroy. That evening, under the glow of a blood-red sunset, the alpha called Amara to the highest cliff overlooking the forest. The wind whipped through her hair, carrying scents of pine, earth, and something unspoken, something dangerous. "I need to tell you something," he began, his golden eyes darkening with thought. "My past, the burdens I carry as alpha, it's not just about strength. It's about protection, loyalty, and choices that could destroy those I love." Amara's heart thudded. She had suspected there was more to him than even the pack knew, but the intensity in his gaze made her shiver. "I want to know," she whispered. "I want to understand everything about you." He drew her closer, the wind tugging at their clothing, yet it could not separate them. "There are rivals," he said, voice low and dangerous. "Alphas who covet my territory, omegas who are pawns in their games, and those who see you as a threat they will come for you. You are my omega, Amara, and anyone who dares touch you will answer to me." Amara felt both fear and thrill coil together in her chest. The thought of danger was terrifying, but the thought of standing by his side, bound to him, made her pulse race in ways she had never experienced. I trust you," she said, her voice firm despite the storm in her chest. The alpha's hand cradled her cheek, his thumb brushing lightly across her skin. "You must trust yourself as well," he murmured. "Your instincts, your strength, your fire. You are no longer hidden. You are mine, fully, and I will not let anyone take you from me." The moment stretched, charged with energy, unspoken desire, and the unbreakable bond forming between them. Amara felt a warmth spread through her, the kind of heat that was more than physical. It was spiritual, emotional, a connection that seemed to resonate through their very souls. Before she could respond, a sudden rustle in the nearby trees froze them both. Valora had followed them, hidden in the shadows, her face twisted with rage and envy. "You think you can claim her?" she hissed, stepping forward, her hands trembling with fury. "She is mine." The alpha's eyes narrowed to golden slits. "She is mine," he growled, stepping between Valora and Amara. His presence was like a storm, and the air seemed to hum with his power. Valora faltered, realizing for the first time that no scheme, no whisper, no threat could undo what had been set in motion. Amara, feeling the surge of his power and protection, found her own courage. "Leave," she said, voice strong echoing across the cliff. "You have no control here. You never did." Valora's scream was cut short by the alpha's warning growl. She fled, her plans foiled, for now. Amara turned to him, her chest still heaving, her pulse wild. "You saved me," she whispered, awe-struck. He drew her into his arms, their bodies pressed close, breaths mingling. "We protect each other," he said, voice husky, "and I will never stop protecting you." The cliff, the forest, the wind, they all seemed to fade. In that moment, the alpha and his omega existed in a world of their own making, one of trust, desire, and an unbreakable bond. Danger would come, as it always did, but together, they were unstoppable. As the sun disappeared behind the horizon, casting the forest into twilight, Amara rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady, powerful beat of his heart. For the first time in her life she knew she was home, and she knew that nothing, not even the darkest shadows, could take that away from her. The night air was thick with tension, the forest alive with whispers of danger and deceit. Amara's senses were sharp, every shadow and flicker of movement setting her nerves alight. Lady Valora had not given up. Her fury and envy had grown into obsession. Amara knew the stepmother would strike again, and this time, she suspected it would be personal. The alpha appeared at her side, silent as a shadow, golden eyes scanning the trees. "She's planning something," he murmured, voice low and dangerous. "I can feel it. You must be ready." Amara nodded, feeling a surge of strength she hadn't known she possessed before. "I'm ready," she said, though her heart raced with adrenaline and fear. She was no longer the hidden girl in the tower. She was his omega, bound to him, and she refused to cower any longer. They moved through the forest, senses alert. The alpha led, a predator in his element, while Amara followed, instincts sharpened, body poised for any threat. Suddenly, a rustle, a flash of movement, and Valora stepped out from behind a tree, eyes wild with rage. "You think you've won," Valora hissed, advancing with a dagger glinting in her hand. "You are nothing without me." The alpha stepped between them, his presence radiating power and warning. "Step aside," he growled, his voice like rolling thunder. "She is mine. You will not touch her. Velora's eyes flicked to Amara, fury and desperation twisting her face. She is weak, she screamed. She cannot survive without me. Amara's chest tightened, but she felt the warmth of the Alpha's hand brushing against hers. A surge of courage and determination flooded her. I am not weak, she said, voice steady and strong. I am his Omega. I am mine. The words were a spark, igniting something powerful. Velora lunged, but Amara reacted instinctively, shifting into her wolf form for the first time in a confrontation. Her body rippled with power, senses heightened, and she moved with grace and lethal precision. The Alpha followed suit, golden eyes glowing as he closed the distance between them, a perfect storm of predator and protector. Together, they cornered Velora. The stepmother faltered, realizing that the girl she had tried to hide, control, and destroy was no longer vulnerable. Amara, standing tall and powerful beside the Alpha, radiated strength and confidence that could not be denied. You will leave, the Alpha said, his voice sharp and unwavering, and you will never threaten her, or this pack, again. Velora's scream of frustration echoed through the forest, but she finally fled defeated and powerless against the union before her. Amara's wolf form softened back into human, her chest heaving, eyes wide with exhilaration. The Alpha stepped closer, cupping her face, and for a moment, the world fell away. You are magnificent, he whispered, his lips brushing hers in a fleeting, intoxicating touch. Strong, fearless mine. Her cheeks burned, heart racing as she reached up to touch him. I am yours, she breathed, feeling the truth of the words in every fiber of her being. He pulled her close, their bodies pressed together, the pull between them a fire that neither could deny. The danger had passed for now, but the passion, the bond, the desire between them was stronger than ever. As the moon rose high, casting silver light over the forest, Amara realized something profound. She was no longer hidden, no longer powerless. She was the Alpha's Omega, chosen, seen, and loved. And together, they were unstoppable. Fire and shadow, strength and desire, bound by a bond that nothing could break. The forest was bathed in the soft light of dawn, the mist curling around the trees like ethereal fingers. Amara stood on the edge of a quiet clearing, feeling the lingering echo of last night's confrontation. Velora had fled, but her presence still haunted the shadows of the forest, and of Amara's mind. The Alpha approached silently, golden eyes soft with pride and something far deeper. You did well, he murmured, voice low and intimate. More than well. You are stronger than you realize, Amara, and it's time you embrace what you truly are. Amara's heart fluttered. What do you mean? She asked, though a flicker of understanding stirred within her. For weeks, she had trained, learned to track, fight, and survive. But she still felt as though a deeper power lay dormant inside her. He reached for her hand, and the world seemed to shrink around them, their connection intensifying with each heartbeat. Your bond with me, it is more than emotional. It is spiritual, primal. Your power as my Omega is awakening. It will protect you, amplify you, and bind you to me in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Amara swallowed, a mixture of excitement and nervousness washing over her. She could feel it, the pull, the heat, the magnetic force between them that had grown stronger with each trial, each touch, each whispered word. Show me, she whispered, voice trembling with anticipation. The Alpha's golden eyes darkened with intensity. Stand close, feel me, let our bond guide you. As their hands clasped, a surge of warmth coursed through her veins. She felt a ripple of power awakening within her, a strength she had never known. Her senses sharpened, the forest around her coming alive in ways she had never noticed. The heartbeat of the earth, the rustle of every leaf, the faint scent of every living creature. You are mine, he murmured, his forehead resting against hers. And your power is ours. Together, nothing can stand against us. The closeness, the bond, the raw desire between them ignited a fire that had nothing to do with danger. Amara leaned into him, lips brushing his, her body trembling with anticipation. He kissed her deeply, possessively, their souls intertwining in a rush of passion, trust, and unspoken promise. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, and when they finally parted, their breaths mingled, hearts beating in sync. I've waited for this moment my entire life, she whispered, voice husky. To be seen, to be chosen, to belong to you. He cupped her face, golden eyes glimmering with emotion. And now you are mine, Amara, and I am yours. Their bond, forged in fire, danger, and destiny, had blossomed into something unstoppable. But even as they clung to each other, a shadow lingered beyond the forest's edge. Whispers of rival packs, lurking dangers, and enemies who would challenge the Alpha's claim over her still loomed. Yet, in that moment, nothing else mattered. Amara had embraced her power, her identity, and her love for the Alpha, and he had claimed her fully, body, heart, and soul. Together they were a force of nature, fierce, unyielding, and unstoppable. The sun climbed higher, casting golden light across the forest. Amara felt it in her bones. This was only the beginning. Their journey would be fraught with danger, passion, and trials, but together they would face it all. And in the heart of the Alpha King, she had found her home, her strength, and her destiny. The forest had never felt so heavy. Even the wind seemed to whisper warnings as Amara and the Alpha patrolled the outer borders of the pack territory. She could feel it, Danger lurking beyond the familiar trees, an unseen threat that chilled her blood. The Alpha's golden eyes were sharp, scanning the horizon. Something is coming, he murmured, his voice low but tense. A rival pack, led by an Alpha who once challenged me. He knows of you now. He knows you are mine. Amara's heart skipped. Can they hurt us? She asked, fear creeping into her voice despite the fire of determination burning inside her. He turned to her, his gaze softening but still firm with command. Not if we face them together. Your power, your instincts, they've grown stronger than ever. You are my Omega, and your strength will protect both you and this pack. Trust yourself and trust me. The warning proved prescient. That night, under a sky smeared with clouds and moonlight, the rival pack attacked. Shadows darted through the trees, wolves with eyes glinting red and teeth bared. Amara felt a surge of adrenaline, her senses alert, every muscle ready to spring into action. The Alpha shifted instantly, golden fur gleaming, eyes blazing. He was a predator unleashed, and yet his attention never left her. Stay close, he commanded, moving like liquid power. Amara's instincts guided her. She shifted too, fully embracing the wolf within her. Her claws dug into the soft earth, her senses razor sharp, and her body moved with a confidence she had never felt before. Together, she and the Alpha fought, their bond amplifying their power, their movements perfectly in sync. One mind, two bodies, unstoppable. Amid the chaos, the Alpha's voice reached her, low and intimate. You are magnificent, he growled, brushing past her in a strike that sent shivers through her. My Omega, my strength mine. She felt a flush of heat, her heart pounding, not from fear, but from the closeness, the intensity, the undeniable pull between them. Even as the fight raged, a fire blazed within her, fueled by his presence and their unbreakable bond. When the battle ended, the rival pack retreating with howls of frustration, the forest fell silent once more. Amara stood panting, her body marked by scratches but alive, invigorated, stronger than ever. The Alpha knelt before her, golden eyes locking with hers. You are more than I ever imagined, he whispered, brushing a hand across her cheek. Your courage, your power, your heart. You are mine in every way and I am yours. Amara's chest heaved and tears pricked her eyes. I never thought I could be this strong, she admitted, voice trembling with emotion. But with you, I feel like I can face anything. He pulled her close, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling, hearts beating as one. And you will, he murmured. Together, we are unstoppable. Nothing will ever take that from us, not enemies, not danger, not even the darkest shadows of my past. For the first time, Amara fully understood the depth of their bond. It was more than love, it was power, trust, desire, and destiny intertwined. And though the night had tested them, the fire between them had only grown brighter, hotter, unbreakable. As they stood together under the silver glow of the moon, Amara felt it deep within her. She had found her place, her strength, and her Alpha. And whatever darkness awaited them in the days to come, she knew one thing with certainty. Together, they could face anything. The forest was alive with anticipation that night, the scent of pine mingling with the sharp tang of tension. Amara stood at the edge of the pack grounds, her senses alive, every nerve tingling. She had faced danger, discovered strength she never knew she possessed, and survived battles that would have crushed her before. Yet tonight, there was something different in the air, a quiet electricity that pressed against her skin, sending shivers down her spine. The Alpha emerged from the shadows, golden eyes glowing in the moonlight, body tense yet radiating calm dominance. He approached her slowly, every step deliberate, every movement a predator's grace. Tonight, he murmured, voice low and intimate, you will fully claim your place as my Omega. Not just in the pack, but with me. Amara's chest tightened, a mixture of anticipation, desire, and awe flooding her. She had trained, survived, and fought beside him. But this was something entirely different. Her pulse raced as he drew closer, the scent of him overwhelming, intoxicating, grounding. Are you ready? He asked, his golden gaze piercing through her very soul. Yes, she whispered, voice trembling yet firm. I am yours. He smiled, a dangerous, possessive smile that sent heat coiling through her body. Then show me, he murmured, closing the distance. Their lips met in a searing kiss, a storm of passion and claim. Amara felt herself melting against him, every nerve alight, every heartbeat sensed with his. The bond they shared surged, a pulse of energy that wrapped around them both desire, power, and destiny intertwined. He pulled back slightly, forehead resting against hers, breathing heavy. You are mine, Amara. Every part of you belongs to me. Your strength, your heart, your soul. Nothing will ever take that from us. Her eyes glistened with tears of joy and relief. And I am yours, she whispered. Forever, but the night was not yet without danger. From the shadows, Lady Valora emerged for a final attempt at sabotage, her rage and envy distilled into a deadly intent. The Alpha tensed instantly, his body radiating lethal power. You will leave Valora, he growled, voice like thunder. This ends tonight, Valora faltered, fear flashing in her eyes. She had underestimated the bond between the Alpha and his Omega, the strength that Amara had discovered within herself, and the protective fire that blazed in him. With a scream of frustration, she fled into the forest, never to threaten Amara again. As silence returned, the Alpha turned to Amara, pulling her close once more. "You are my destiny," he murmured, lips brushing her ear, sending shivers of longing through her. "And I will protect you, cherish you, love you for all eternity." Amara wrapped her arms around him, resting her head against his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart. "And I will follow you," she whispered, "through everything, no matter what." The moon shone brightly overhead, casting silver light across the forest as they stood together, bound by love, desire, and an unbreakable bond. The trials were behind them, and the future stretched ahead, full of promise, passion, and the fire of destiny. Amara had been hidden, silenced, and underestimated her whole life. Now she was seen, chosen, and unstoppable, by the side of the Alpha King, her mate, her protector, and her love. Together, they were not just strong, they were legendary. And as they kissed beneath the moonlight, the forest seemed to hum with approval, the stars themselves witnessing the union of fire and shadow, strength and desire, destiny and love. The forest hummed with life as dawn broke, the soft golden light illuminating the pack grounds. Amara moved among the members, her confidence growing with each step. No longer the hidden Omega, she walked with purpose, her head held high, the Alpha's presence always near, a steady warmth at her side. The Alpha watched her, golden eyes filled with pride in something more, desire, admiration, and an unspoken vow of protection. "You've grown stronger than I imagined," he murmured, his hand brushing against hers. "The pack respects you, and so do I." Amara's cheeks flushed at his words, but she smiled. "I've learned from the best," she replied, her voice teasing, yet her heart beating faster at the closeness between them. The morning was not without challenges. Pack politics were delicate, alliances needed reinforcing, and whispers of rival factions still lingered. But Amara found herself rising to the occasion, her instincts as an Omega now sharpened into authority, insight, and strength. Later, they stood atop a hill overlooking the forest, the wind tugging at Amara's hair, the Alpha close behind her. "This is our territory," he said, voice low and commanding. "Our pack, our rules. And now, you are part of it all. Part of me." Her pulse raced at his words. "I feel powerful," she admitted, turning to him, golden eyes meeting his. "Not just because of you, but because I'm no longer hiding. Because I'm standing with you." He drew her into his arms, lips brushing hers in a kiss that was equal parts tender and possessive. "And you will never hide again," he murmured. "I will ensure that no one, not even those who wish to harm us, can take you from me." Their connection deepened, not just physically but emotionally. Every touch, every glance, every whispered word strengthened the bond between Alpha and Omega, forging a love that was both consuming and protective. As night fell, the pack gathered around a ceremonial fire. Amara and the Alpha stood at the center, their hands entwined, their presence commanding respect. "This bond," he proclaimed, "is not just ours, it is the strength of the pack. Together, we are unstoppable." Amara's heart swelled with pride and love. For the first time in her life, she was not only seen and chosen but a vital part of something greater. A family, a destiny, and a love that burned brighter than any fear. That night, beneath the silver glow of the moon, the Alpha claimed her once more, not just as his Omega, but as his equal, his partner, his everything. Their passion was a wildfire, consuming, tender, and eternal. The forest seemed to pulse with their connection, echoing their union with every rustle of leaves and whisper of the wind. Amara had found her place, her strength, and her love. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced. She was seen, chosen, and unstoppable. By the side of the Alpha King, her mate, and her protector. And together they would face whatever the world dared to throw at them. The forest was alive with tension as twilight settled over the pack lands. Amara's senses were on high alert, every rustle and whisper sharpening her instincts. For the first time, she felt truly attuned to the forest, to the pack, and to the Alpha at her side. The bond between them pulsed like a living thing, binding their hearts, bodies, and spirits together. The Alpha's golden eyes scanned the horizon, muscles tense, ears flicking toward distant sounds. "A rival pack approaches," he murmured, his voice low and dangerous. "They've heard of you, Amara, and they seek to challenge me by targeting my Omega." A fear rose in her chest, but it was tempered by a fierce determination. "Then let them come," she whispered. "I'm ready." He reached for her, hand warm and grounding, his gaze softening just for her. "You are stronger than you know," he said. "Your power, your courage, your bond with me. They will see it, and they will not succeed." As the first shadows of the rival pack emerged, Amara shifted fully into her wolf form, instincts and power flowing through her. The Alpha mirrored her, a golden blur of power and precision. Together, they faced the intruders, moving in perfect unison. One mind, two bodies, unstoppable. The battle was fierce. Claws tore through underbrush, fangs flashed in the moonlight, and the rival pack faltered under the combined strength of Alpha and Omega. Every strike Amara made was guided by instinct and the bond with the Alpha, each movement a testament to her growth and courage. Finally, the leader of the rival pack lunged toward the Alpha, but Amara intercepted, her claws finding their mark with precision. The Alpha growled, his power flaring, and together they drove the rivals back into the shadows victorious. Panting, exhausted yet exhilarated, Amara shifted back into human form, leaning against the alpha. I did it, she whispered, all struck. I protected you and the pack. He cupped her face, golden eyes glowing with pride and desire. No, Amara, he murmured. We did it together. You are not just my Omega. You are my equal, my strength, my heart. And tonight, you have proven it. The tension melted away as he pulled her into his arms, lips claiming hers in a kiss that was fierce, tender, and all-consuming. Every nerve in her body ignited, every heartbeat echoing the fire of their bond. She felt his strength, his claim, his love, powerful, protective, and overwhelming in the most beautiful way. They sank to the forest floor, wrapped in each other, bodies and hearts entwined. The danger of the night had only strengthened their connection, their passion, and their trust. The moonlight bathed them in silver, the forest alive with the energy of their love. As they lay together, Amara knew one thing with certainty: she was no longer hidden, no longer afraid, no longer powerless. She was seen, chosen, and unstoppable. By the side of her alpha, her mate, and her protector. Together, they would face every trial, every threat, every shadow. And together, their love would burn brighter than any darkness the world dared to cast. The full moon hung high in silver over the pack grounds, its glow illuminating the forest in a mystical, ethereal light. Tonight was a celebration, not just of their survival against rival packs, but of the bond between Alpha and Omega, a union forged in destiny, danger, and desire. Amara stood at the center of the ceremonial clearing, her heart pounding with anticipation. She had grown stronger, braver, and more powerful than she had ever imagined. Every trial, every battle, every intimate moment with the Alpha had honed her into the Omega she was meant to be. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer afraid. She belonged to the pack, and to him. The Alpha approached, his golden eyes glowing with a mixture of pride, desire, and love that made her knees weak. Tonight, he said, voice rich and commanding, we declare our bond to the pack and to the world. You are mine, Amara, and I am yours. Your strength, your heart, your soul belong to me, and together, we are unstoppable. Amara stepped forward, her eyes locking with his. And I am yours, now and forever, she whispered, the words resonating deep within her. Every part of me is yours, body, heart, and soul. The pack members gathered, their howls of approval and celebration echoing through the forest. They had witnessed her growth, her courage, and her power. They had seen the unbreakable bond between Alpha and Omega, and they honored it. The Alpha took her hands, lifting them to his chest, their foreheads touching. Your fire, your courage, your love, it is everything I have ever wanted in an Omega. He murmured, lips brushing hers in a soft, possessive kiss. And now, the world will know it too. The forest seemed to respond to their union. The wind whispered through the trees, the moonlight shimmered around them, and the very earth pulsed with energy. Amara felt the full force of their bond, a power that was physical, emotional, and spiritual all at once. She was his fully, and he was hers. As the celebration continued, the Alpha pulled her away from the crowd, deep into the forest where the moonlight filtered through the trees in silver beams. There, in the quiet intimacy of nature, their passion ignited once more. He claimed her lips, her neck, her every nerve with a fire that was as protective as it was consuming. Amara responded with equal fervor, her hands and body entwined with his, their bond a perfect storm of desire and love. Every kiss, every touch, every whisper deepened their connection, cementing their destiny. Finally, as they lay entwined beneath the silver moon, Amara rested her head against the Alpha's chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. I am yours, she whispered again, tears of joy and fulfillment glistening in her eyes. And I am yours, he replied, holding her close, golden eyes soft with love and possession. Forever, Omega, you are my heart, my strength, and my destiny. The forest echoed with their triumph, their love, and their unbreakable bond. Amara had been hidden, underestimated, and silenced all her life, but now she was seen, chosen, and unstoppable. Together with her Alpha, she would face every challenge, conquer every danger, and embrace every moment of their passionate, cinematic love. Under the light of the full moon, the Alpha King and his Omega claimed their destiny, their hearts beating as one, their souls intertwined, and their love blazing brighter than any shadow could ever hope to touch. The forest was alive with activity as the pack thrived under the Alpha's leadership. Amara moved among the members with ease now, her confidence radiating from every gesture. She was no longer the hidden girl, she was the Omega, the heart of the pack, and the Alpha's chosen mate. Every pack member respected her, not just for her bond with him, but for the strength, wisdom, and courage she had proven again and again. The Alpha watched her from the edge of the clearing, golden eyes gleaming with pride and desire. You've become the strength of this pack, he murmured as he approached her. Your instincts, your courage, your heart, they inspire everyone, including me. Amara's cheeks flushed, but she met his gaze with equal intensity. I learned from the best, she said softly, but her heartbeat betrayed her longing. And from you. He stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face, his touch sending shivers down her spine. Tonight, he said, voice low and intimate, we cement our bond further, not just in front of the pack, but in the way that only we know, the way only Alpha and Omega can share. Amara's pulse quickened at his words. She felt the magnetic pull of desire, of trust, of destiny, and she could no longer resist. "I'm yours?" she whispered, her voice trembling with anticipation and longing. The Alpha pulled her into his arms, lips capturing hers in a kiss that was both tender and possessive. Their bond pulsed with energy, the forest around them seemingly echoing the intensity of their connection. Every brush of skin, every whispered word, every heartbeat between them ignited a fire that was both primal and deeply emotional. Hours passed in a haze of passion, trust, and intimacy, their connection deepening beyond physicality into something spiritual, unbreakable, and eternal. Amara felt it, the full force of her power as an Omega, amplified and guided by the Alpha's presence, love, and claim. She was not just chosen, she was empowered, seen, and adored. As dawn approached, the pack gathered to honor their leaders. The Alpha presented Amara not just as his mate, but as a partner, equal in strength and in heart. Their bond was now a force the pack could feel, a unifying energy that inspired loyalty, courage, and trust. Amara stood beside him, hands intertwined, hearts beating in sync. The forest seemed to hum with the power of their union, the full moon still casting silver light over the clearing. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced. She was fully herself, fully empowered, and fully claimed. The Alpha leaned close, whispering in her ear, voice husky with emotion and desire. "You are mine, Amara, always have been, always will be. And together, we will lead this pack, face every threat, and embrace every moment of our destiny." Amara smiled, feeling the truth of his words deep within her soul. "And I am yours," she replied, pressing her forehead against his. "Forever." Under the silver light of the morning moon, the Alpha King and his Omega stood together, their bond unbreakable, their love blazing brighter than any shadow could touch, and their destiny fully intertwined. The pack thrived, the forest hummed with life, and Amara knew, with certainty, that she had found her home, her power, and her forever love. The forest had grown quiet, an uneasy stillness settling over the pack grounds. Amara sensed it immediately, the subtle shift in the wind, the faint rustle of leaves that carried a warning. Something was coming, something powerful and dangerous, and it was not a rival pack she had encountered before. The Alpha appeared at her side, golden eyes narrowing as he scanned the horizon. "I feel it too," he murmured, voice low and dangerous. "This is not a simple challenge. It's a test of everything, our bond, your strength, the pack's unity." Amara's heart raced, a mixture of fear and determination igniting within her. "Then we'll face it together," she said, her voice steady despite the tension. "We're stronger than anything they can throw at us." The first signs of the threat emerged as shadows at the edge of the forest, figures moving with precision, not chaotic like ordinary intruders, but calculated, trained, and deadly. Amara's pulse quickened. She could sense their intent, their skill, and their danger. The Alpha's protective energy surged, wrapping around her like a shield, but he didn't step forward without her consent. "You are ready," he murmured, brushing his hand against hers, golden eyes locking with hers. "Trust your instincts, trust our bond. Nothing can break what we share." With a nod, Amara shifted, embracing her Omega powers fully. Her senses sharpened, every sound, every scent, every heartbeat around her magnified. She could feel the forest's energy, the pack's presence, and the Alpha's guiding force as one. Together they became a force of nature, unstoppable and perfect in synchronization. The attackers advanced, but they had underestimated the bond between Alpha and Omega. Every move Amara made was amplified, precise, lethal. The Alpha's power flowed through her, and hers through him. They moved as one, a perfect storm of strategy, strength, and instinct, fending off the threat with breathtaking efficiency. In the heat of battle, the Alpha's voice reached her, low and intimate. "You are magnificent, Amara. My strength, my heart, my everything." As she responded without hesitation, voice fierce and passionate, "And I am yours, always yours." The clash ended with the intruders retreating, overwhelmed by the unity, skill, and power of the Alpha and Omega. The forest returned to its peaceful rhythm, the pack safe, and the bond between them stronger than ever. As they stood together, breaths mingling, golden eyes meeting hers with unspoken love and desire, the Alpha pulled her close, lips brushing hers in a kiss that was tender, possessive and consuming all at once. The danger had passed, but the fire between them burned brighter than ever. "You are mine," he whispered against her lips. "And I am yours. Forever." Amara's heart swelled. "And I will follow you through everything," she replied, wrapping her arms around him. "Through danger, through trials, through life itself." The moonlight bathed them in silver as they held each other close, hearts beating in perfect unison. She had embraced her full power, their bond had been tested, and their love had emerged stronger, fiercer, and more passionate than ever before. The forest seemed to hum with their triumph, the pack safe under their protection, and the Alpha King and his Omega ready to face whatever destiny awaited them. Together, unstoppable, and bound by a love that could conquer anything. The night was thick with the scent of pine and earth, the full moon casting silver light over the pack grounds. Amara sat beside the Alpha on a high cliff overlooking the forest, her heart still racing from the recent battle. She had felt her power surge, fully awakened, every instinct honed, every sense alive. And through it all, the Alpha had been there, guiding, protecting, and loving her. He turned to her, golden eyes glowing, the tension of battle replaced by an intimate intensity. "You've grown," he murmured, voice low and deep, vibrating with desire. "Stronger, braver, more powerful than I ever imagined. And every day you amaze me, Amara." Her cheeks flushed as she met his gaze. "I couldn't have done it without you," she whispered, though the truth was deeper. He had awakened something in her that she never knew existed. Courage, strength, and an unbreakable fire. He leaned closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face, lips barely grazing hers. "No," he corrected softly, his golden eyes locking with hers. "You did this. You are my omega, my equal, my heart. Everything I am because of you." Amara felt a shiver run through her, desire mingling with pride, love, and awe. She reached for him, hand sliding over his shoulders, pulling him closer. "Then show me," she whispered, voice trembling with anticipation and longing. The Alpha's lips met hers in a kiss that was fierce, tender, and consuming all at once. Every touch, every movement was an affirmation of their bond, their love, and their unbreakable connection. The world around them faded, the moonlight, the forest, even the pack seemed to pause, holding its breath as Alpha and Omega surrendered to their passion. Hours passed in a haze of fire and moonlight, desire and trust, as they explored every facet of their connection. The Alpha claimed her not just as his mate, but as his equal, his Omega, and the heart of his life. Amara responded with equal fervor, fully embracing her power, her passion, and her love for him. Finally, they lay entwined, breaths mingling, hearts beating in perfect sync. "You are mine," the Alpha murmured, lips brushing her temple, voice soft but commanding. "Always have been, always will be. And I am yours." Amara replied, eyes glistening with tears of joy and fulfillment. "Forever." The forest around them seemed to hum with the energy of their union, the moonlight casting silver shadows that danced across their bodies. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer afraid. She was seen, chosen, and unstoppable, fully awakened as the Alpha's Omega. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, they remained wrapped in each other's arms, hearts, souls, and desires intertwined. Amara had found her place, her power, and her destiny. Together they would face every challenge, conquer every danger, and embrace every moment of their epic, cinematic love. The Alpha King and his Omega had claimed their destiny, and nothing in the world could ever take it from them. The pack grounds buzzed with anticipation and tension. With the Alpha fully claiming his Omega, and Amara now recognized as the heart of the pack, their leadership was undeniable, but not without challenges. Rival factions from neighboring territories eyed their union with envy, and whispers of dissent threatened the fragile balance of power. Amara moved through the clearing, confident and graceful, her presence commanding respect. Each member she passed bowed slightly, acknowledging not just her role as the Alpha's mate, but as a leader in her own right. She felt the fire of pride ignite within her. She was no longer hidden, no longer powerless, no longer just an Omega in name. She was a force to be reckoned with. The Alpha appeared beside her, golden eyes scanning the gathered pack. "They test us," he murmured, voice low and intimate. "But nothing will break our bond. Not rivals, not threats, nothing." Amara's fingers intertwined with his, their connection radiating a palpable energy that everyone could feel. "Then let them come," she replied, her voice steady, powerful. "Together we are unstoppable." As the meeting began, tensions surfaced immediately. A faction from the southern territories challenged their claim, questioning the Alpha's choice of Omega and Amara's influence. The murmurs and whispers carried over the clearing, but the Alpha's presence was unwavering, golden eyes glowing with controlled fury. Amara stepped forward, voice clear and commanding. "I am the Alpha's Omega, yes," she stated, "but I am also the strength of this pack. I have fought, bled, and proven myself alongside him. This is our bond, our leadership, and our destiny, and I will not let anyone undermine it." The gathering fell silent, the weight of her words resonating with the pack. The Alpha placed a hand on her shoulder, golden gaze locking with hers. "That's my Omega," he whispered, pride and desire mingling in his voice. That night, under the silver glow of the moon, the Alpha led Amara away from the pack, deep into the forest where only they existed. "You've proven yourself today," he murmured, lips brushing hers in a tender, possessive kiss. "And I want to show you just how much I claim you, how much I adore you." Amara shivered as he pulled her close, their bodies pressing together, hearts beating as one. The bond between them pulsed with raw energy, their desire igniting like wildfire. Every kiss, every touch, every whisper was an affirmation of their love, power, and destiny. Hours passed in a haze of passion, trust, and intimacy. The Alpha and Omega moved as one, exploring each other in ways both emotional and physical, cinematic in their intensity. Amara felt the full power of her bond, every nerve alive, every instinct honed, every emotion amplified by the Alpha's presence. Finally, they rested, wrapped in each other's arms beneath the moonlight. "You are mine," the Alpha whispered, golden eyes soft yet fierce. "Always and forever." "And I am yours," Amara replied, pressing her forehead against his. No matter what comes, no matter the challenges, no matter the darkness, we face it together. The forest hummed with their triumph and unity, the pack safe, their bond unshakable, and their love blazing brighter than ever. Amara had found her destiny, her power, and her forever love. The Alpha King and his Omega stood not just as lovers, but as legends, strong, fearless, and unstoppable. The wind carried an unusual chill through the forest, rustling the trees like whispers of a coming storm. Amara sensed it immediately. This was not a simple threat to the pack. This was personal, intimate, a shadow that reached into the heart of the Alpha himself. He appeared at her side, golden eyes sharp, muscles coiled like a predator. "I feel it too," he said, voice low and dangerous. "This threat, it comes from my past. Someone who knows me, knows you, and seeks to tear us apart." Amara's heart tightened, fear and determination intertwining. "Then we face it together," she whispered, her hand sliding into his. "Whatever comes, we'll handle it. Together." The first sign of danger emerged as a lone figure stepped from the forest shadows, a rogue Alpha from the past, someone who had once sought to challenge him, someone who had long held a grudge. His eyes glinted with malice, and even the pack members fell silent, sensing the tension in the air. "You think you can hide behind your mate?" The rogue Alpha sneered, voice dripping with venom. "I know her. I know your weakness. I will take her and I will take your pack." The Alpha growled, golden eyes flashing like fire. "She is not yours to touch," he said, his voice like thunder. "She is mine, and you will not harm her, or this pack." Amara stepped forward, her heart pounding, every nerve alive. "You will not touch us," she said firmly, voice ringing with authority and power. "I am the Alpha's Omega, his equal and his strength. Leave now, or face both of us." The rogue Alpha lunged, but Amara's instincts and power surged. She shifted fully into her wolf form, sleek and lethal, senses amplified, every movement precise. The Alpha mirrored her, a golden force of unrelenting power. Together, they were unstoppable, bonded not just by love, but by trust, instinct, and destiny. The fight was fierce, cinematic in every moment. Amara moved with deadly grace, fangs and claws finding their mark, every strike guided by her connection to the Alpha. His presence flowed through her, their bond amplifying both their strength and skill. Finally, the rogue Alpha fell back, defeated and humiliated. He knew he could not break the bond between them, could not touch what was unbreakable. With a final glare, he retreated into the shadows, leaving Alpha and Omega triumphant. The Alpha pulled Amara into his arms, lips claiming hers in a kiss that was both possessive and tender. "You are magnificent," he murmured, golden eyes glowing with desire and love. "My Omega, my heart, my strength." Amara's body trembled against him, tears of relief and passion glistening. "And I am yours," she whispered, wrapping her arms around him. "Always yours, forever yours." The forest seemed to hum around them, the pack safe, their bond stronger than ever, and their love blazing brighter than any threat could dim. The Alpha King and his Omega had faced the shadows, conquered the danger, and claimed their destiny, not just as leaders of the pack, but as eternal mates bound by fire, trust, and desire. Under the silver light of the moon, Amara felt it deep within her soul. She had found her home, her power, and her forever love. And together, nothing, not enemies, not shadows, not even the past, could ever break them. The forest shimmered under the glow of the full moon, its silver light reflecting the energy that pulsed between Alpha and Omega. The battles, the trials, and the shadows of the past had been conquered. Now, the pack thrived, and Amara had fully embraced her role, not just as the Alpha's mate, but as the heart and strength of their growing family. The Alpha appeared beside her, golden eyes soft yet burning with desire. "Tonight," he murmured, voice low and magnetic, "we celebrate. Not just the pack's victory, but ours, our bond, our love, our destiny. And I want you, Amara, to feel fully what it means to be mine." Amara's heart raced, anticipation and longing intertwining. "I am yours," she whispered, lips barely brushing his. "In every way. Forever." He pulled her close, golden hands holding her as if she were the most precious treasure in existence. The kiss that followed was electric, possessive, tender, and consuming all at once. Every touch spoke of desire, protection, and unbreakable love. The forest around them seemed to respond, the wind carrying the echoes of the pack's howls, the trees swaying with energy, the moonlight wrapping them in silver fire. Amara felt every nerve alive, every instinct heightened, every heartbeat synced with his. She had never felt so powerful, so seen, so claimed. Hours passed in a haze of passion, trust, and intimacy. The Alpha and Omega moved together like one entity, bodies and souls intertwined, exploring every depth of their connection. Amara fully embraced her power, her desires, and her love, each moment a testament to their destiny and their union. Finally they rested, wrapped in each other's arms beneath the moonlit sky. "You are mine?" the Alpha whispered, golden eyes glimmering with awe and devotion. "Always have been, always will be. My Omega, my heart, my fire." "And I am yours?" Amara replied, tears of joy and fulfillment glistening. "Forever, in every way." The pack gathered around, honoring their leaders, sensing the power, love, and unbreakable bond that radiated from them. Amara stood tall, confident and radiant. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer underestimated. She was seen, chosen, and unstoppable. the Alpha's mate, the pack's Omega, and the legend they would all follow. Under the silver glow of the moon, Alpha and Omega embraced their destiny fully. Their love, their power, and their bond were eternal, blazing brighter than any shadow could ever touch. Amara had found her home, her strength, and her forever love. Together, they were not just leaders, they were legends, a force of fire and shadow, desire and destiny, unbreakable and eternal. The forest hummed with approval, the pack thrived, and the Alpha King and his Omega finally stood together. Claimed, complete, and unstoppable. The sun rose over the forest, casting golden light across the pack grounds. The air was thick with life, the sounds of wolves, birds, and rustling leaves filling the space with harmony and strength. Amara walked confidently among the pack, her presence commanding respect, yet radiating warmth. She was no longer the hidden girl, no longer the Omega in the shadows. She was the heart of the pack, the Alpha's mate, and a force of power and love that none could deny. The Alpha emerged from the forest edge, golden eyes locking on hers, his expression a mix of pride, desire, and unwavering devotion. "Every day you amaze me," he said, voice low and magnetic. "You've grown into everything I ever hoped for and more. The pack thrives because of you, Amara. Because of us." Amara felt a rush of warmth and love at his words, her heartbeat quickening. "We've faced everything together," she whispered, stepping closer, fingers brushing his. "And we've survived stronger. United, unstoppable." He cupped her face, brushing his thumb over her cheek, eyes soft yet intense. "Tonight," he murmured, "I want to remind you how deeply I claim you, how much I desire you, how forever you are mine." The forest seemed to hold its breath as they stepped into a private clearing, bathed in silver moonlight. The Alpha drew her into his arms, lips claiming hers in a kiss that was both tender and consuming, intimate and possessive. Every brush of skin, every sigh, every heartbeat was an affirmation of their bond, primal, spiritual, and eternal. Amara responded with equal fervor, feeling the full force of her power as the Alpha's Omega, every nerve alive, every instinct heightened. The forest around them pulsed with their energy, the moonlight casting silver fire over their entwined forms. Hours passed in a haze of passion, desire, and trust. They explored every depth of each other, body, heart, and soul, reaffirming their unbreakable bond. Amara's power flourished under his guidance, the full realization of her Omega strength merging perfectly with his Alpha dominance. Together, they were a perfect storm of fire and shadow, desire and destiny. Finally, as the first light of dawn touched the treetops, they lay wrapped in each other's arms, breaths mingling, hearts beating as one. "You are mine," the Alpha murmured, golden eyes soft yet fierce. "Always have been, always will be. My Omega, my heart, my forever, and I am yours," Amara replied, pressing her forehead against his. "Through every challenge, every danger, every moment of life we are one. Forever." The pack gathered around, sensing the harmony, power, and love radiating from their leaders. Amara had fully claimed her role, not just as the Alpha's mate, but as the strength, heart, and guiding force of the pack. Together, they had faced enemies, danger, and destiny, and had emerged stronger, united, and unstoppable. Under the golden light of dawn and the silver glow of the moon still lingering in memory, the Alpha King and his Omega stood together, lovers, leaders, legends. Their bond was eternal, their love unbreakable, and their legacy was only beginning. The forest hummed with life, the pack thrived under their protection, and Amara knew, deep within her soul, that she had found her home, her power, and her forever love. Together, they were not just Alpha and Omega, they were destiny incarnate, fire and shadow, unstoppable and eternal. The pack had grown stronger under the rule of the Alpha and his Omega. Amara moved through the clearing with grace and authority, her presence commanding attention and respect. She was no longer the hidden girl of her stepmother's schemes. She was the heart of the pack, the Alpha's mate, and a guiding force for everyone who called this forest home. The Alpha appeared beside her, golden eyes scanning the horizon, always protective, always vigilant. Yet now his gaze softened when it landed on her. "Every day you amaze me," he said quietly, "not just with your strength, but with your heart. With you, Amara, the pack has become unstoppable." Her cheeks flushed, but her smile was steady. "We've built this together," she said, fingers brushing his hand. "And we've done it with trust, courage, and love. Nothing can break what we share." Their bond was stronger than ever, pulsating like a living force, an unbreakable thread that connected every part of them. And yet, destiny had more in store. One moonlit night, the Alpha led Amara to a hidden glade, silver light filtering through the canopy. "Tonight," he murmured, "I want to show you how much I claim you, how much you are mine, and how much we will build together." Amara felt a thrill rush through her at his words. The forest seemed to hold its breath as he drew her into his arms, lips pressing to hers in a kiss that was tender, possessive, and utterly consuming. Every movement, every touch was electric, their passion mirrored in the forest around them. As their bodies entwined, Amara felt her Omega powers surge fully, harmonizing with his Alpha strength. They moved together like a single entity, a perfect storm of desire, love, and destiny. The energy around them pulsed, leaves rustling and moonlight shimmering in response to their bond. Afterward, they lay entwined, breaths mingling, hearts beating in perfect sync. You are mine, the Alpha whispered, golden eyes soft yet fierce. Always and forever. My Omega, my heart, my legacy, and I am yours. Amara replied, pressing her forehead to his. Through every challenge, every danger, every joy, we are one. Forever. In the days that followed, the pack flourished. Amara and the Alpha guided their members with wisdom, courage, and love. New pups were born under the moon's glow, the next generation of wolves destined to carry their strength and legacy. Every howl, every movement, every heartbeat echoed their bond and their triumph. At night, beneath the silver moon, the Alpha and Omega would steal moments for themselves, moments of passion, tenderness, and intimacy that reminded them of everything they had fought for. Amara had fully embraced her power, her desires, and her destiny. She was no longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer underestimated. She was the Alpha's Omega, the heart of the pack, and the embodiment of love, strength, and destiny. Together, they were unstoppable, eternal, and unforgettable. And as they stood together under the moonlight, the Alpha's hand resting over hers, Amara knew one thing with absolute certainty. She had found her home, her power, and her forever love, and nothing in the world could ever take it from them. The forest was bathed in silver light, the gentle hum of life echoing through the trees. The Alpha and Omega walked side by side, paws and hands moving in perfect sync, their bond unshakable, their presence commanding respect and admiration from the pack. Amara had grown into her role fully. No longer hidden, no longer silenced, she radiated strength, wisdom, and a quiet power that drew the loyalty and trust of every pack member. She had faced enemies, survived trials, and awakened powers she hadn't known existed. And through it all, the Alpha had been her constant, the protector, the guide, the love of her life. He stopped beside her, golden eyes locking with hers. Amara, he murmured, voice low, magnetic, filled with desire and love. Every day with you is a gift. Every moment, every heartbeat, I want to spend it with you. Forever. Her chest swelled, her heart racing with emotion and anticipation. Then let us make it forever, she whispered, fingers entwining with his. No matter what comes, no matter the dangers, we face it together. The Alpha drew her close, lips brushing hers in a kiss that was equal parts tender and consuming. Every touch was a promise, every heartbeat a vow. The forest around them seemed to shimmer with their energy, the moonlight dancing across their entwined forms. Hours passed as they shared a private night beneath the moon, their passion and love blending into a perfect storm of desire and intimacy. Amara's Omega power surged fully, harmonizing with the Alpha's strength, creating a bond that was both physical and spiritual. They moved together as one, a force of fire, shadow, love, and destiny. When the night finally quieted, they lay together, bodies entwined, hearts beating in sync. You are mine, the Alpha whispered, golden eyes soft yet fierce. Always, forever, my Omega, my heart, my soul, and I am yours? Amara replied, pressing her forehead to his. Through every challenge, every joy, every shadow and flame, we are one. The pack watched from a distance, sensing the unbreakable bond between their leaders. Pups tumbled across the clearing, new life beginning under the silver moon, while the elders nodded in respect at the Alpha and Omega's strength and love. Amara had fully claimed her place, not just as the Alpha's mate, but as a leader, a protector, and the heart of the pack. As dawn crept across the horizon, the Alpha held her close, eyes shimmering with devotion. Our legacy is only beginning, he murmured. Together, nothing can stop us. We are fire, shadow, and destiny eternal. Amara smiled, feeling the depth of her power, her love, and her belonging. And together we will face everything, she whispered. Our pack, our love, our life forever. Under the golden light of dawn and the silver glow of the moon fading behind them, the Alpha King and his Omega embraced their destiny fully. Love, power, and desire intertwined, creating a legacy that would echo through generations. They were unstoppable, unbreakable, and eternal. And as they stood hand in hand, watching the pack thrive, Amara knew she had found her home, her power, and her forever love. Together, they would reign as legends, hearts and souls bound, fire and moonlight blazing eternally.